This was a fantastic, beautiful, and gorgeous, and charming, and quaint, and just a nice little wrap-up of the bow of this season. It was, like most Game of Thrones season finales, mostly everyone just looking back on that penultimate episode and going, oh boy, last episode was crazy, and everyone just kind of taking a time out to deal with it and move on to the next adventure. And really everyone just sitting around and being like, fuck. And that is where this episode starts, with Dunk sitting by a tree with Lionel, and he's on death's door, according to apparently the worst maester in the world. Utterly delightful. This show has done the thing that Hot D really failed to do. Game of Thrones did it very successfully. You have a character that rocks up. I don't know, maybe he's been it before, but I didn't recall him until now. He speaks for literally 20 seconds, and I'm like, he's my new favorite character. I love this shit maester, the worst maester in the land. I love it. Was it just me, or was the first scene of this episode where Lionel is looking down on Dunk, and it's like a Tarantino looking into the trunk shot, and there's this like slow jazz saxophone trumpet kind of like this really non-Game of Thronesy sounding, like, felt like I was in some kind of sleazy jazz bar in the 1930s, and like some femme fatale lady was coming up to me, and there's like a gangster guy with a cigar, and he's like, you know, like, and I'm just like walking in there with like a top hat on, like flicking a coin up and down or whatever. I don't know. I've got a Tommy gun or something. It was just so strange to me. I didn't hate it, but it reminded me of like when you're watching scenes from shows and stuff on TikTok or whatever, and someone's just put like a pop song over it, or a song from a different thing. So you've got like Miley Cyrus, but it's Game of Thrones footage or whatever. It felt like that, where if like I was looking and I'm like, is something wrong with my HBO? Like, has it been hacked? It was very strange. I thought it was a great song choice. Just really bizarre. Just very not Game of Thronesy. Just me? Just me? I've been minorly critical of some of the music. I felt like it's not had that Ramin Djawadi magic to it. This episode, I thought it was quite stunning. I thought the episode ends, that musical score was incredible. Very, very good stuff. Loved it all. But yeah, that start just, it shook me. I love that Lionel's been given so much more as a character. Him and Dunk's interactions in this episode, and particularly essentially him and Dunk's conversation compared to every other character's conversations about Baelor's death. And Lionel's essentially the only one that doesn't give a shit. Not only doesn't give a shit, but kind of is happy. And really fascinating. I think really intriguing how he sees it, and like how he kind of feels like, I don't know, Baelor's kind of full of shit to think that this was anything, even though we're all like, haha, he's the hero of everything. It's interesting to see a different side of it, where he's like, well, he's doing this, but it's all posturing, because these people weren't allowed to hurt him, and he only got hurt by accident, because the gods are like, no, none of your tomfoolery, trying to have your cake and eat it too. And I just thought that was really interesting. Not that I agree or disagree with it, but just that it's such a fascinating, different look. Whereas essentially every single other character in this episode is just looking at Dunk being like, come on, bro. He was going to be the greatest king that ever was. You? And it's just, really interesting parallel. There is a few moments in this episode that are definitely not from the book, even though 90% of it is, where they kind of take it just like maybe one step too far for my liking, where they've done it a few times this season and really hinted at things in the future of this show and this character. No spoilers if you haven't read future books or whatever's, but it's just like little stuff where they'll say a thing like, he's like, could my foot really be used as good as a prince would be? And the guy's like, not bloody likely. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, like, we get it. We get it. He's going to use that foot to kick the first football and create the sport of football. And I know I did say I wasn't going to spoil future events with Dunk's foot, but he will be the one to go on and invent football. So, I mean, obviously the foot thing feels a bit heavy-handed when you know that as a future event. But apart from that, pretty good episode. Pretty good discussions on, who deserved to live and all that kind of stuff. Essentially, everyone just being like, Dunk, you son of a bitch, I don't know about this. But I mean, it's essentially all of his family. They're not happy about it, and it's just good, interesting conversations. I did get a tiny bit of that, like, man, some of these characters I really would have just liked a little bit more outside of the plot. Like characters like Lionel, who've got all the good plot stuff, but there's so much other stuff that we've had. So when these big moments where he yells about Baelor, I'm just like, fully fleshed, incredible character. I do wish the other sons and the other Targaryens had a little bit more. We don't get Aerion. Like, he's in the scene for 2 seconds in a post-credit scene, which was utterly surreal. And he doesn't even do anything in that. I do wish with the show being able to expand and grow, we could have got a little bit stuff like more with them. And I think it comes to play with stuff like Maekor. So this episode with Maekor, it's so good. He's so heartbroken. He's so sad. He's so different as a character. And it's so fascinating to see. And then I just go, man, he's had more in this final episode than he had for the whole show. I just really would have loved if they could just given us like, I'm not even asking for like full 45-minute more episodes, just like 5-10 minutes more of all of these characters, just to really beef it up. Because what we've gotten is perfect. It is incredible. I've loved it. It just does feel a little bit like, I feel like I'm having a delightful little appetizer, and then the episode ends, and I go, that's right, it's very brief. But it is a testament to how good it is that I am complaining and wanting more, and not being like, I could have shaved off here, it's a bit over-explaining here. So I think it's a good issue to have. I'd much prefer to have this issue than the opposite, where it's too much, too long, and I'm so sick of spending time with these characters. Not looking at any other dragon-related show. Obviously, I am, of course, talking about Hot D, which is just, it baffles me how little I like the characters compared to this show, even side characters that I wish had more stuff. Like, the Season 3 trailer of Hot D came out, and it, like, looks so good visually, like dragons, battles, medieval, Game of Thrones, and then we'll just cut to a close-up of, like, any character that's not Matt Smith, and I was just like, that's right, I hate everybody. I don't want to watch this. I mean, of course I will, I'm super excited-ish, but yeah, it's such a testament to how well these characters are like written, how well they're acted, the casting's been superb. But yeah, Maekor was fantastic, loved all this stuff. Unlike last week's episode where I thought the flashback placement was a little strange, I won't go into it, I spoke about it for far too long. I've watched the episode again, I've come to kind of terms with it, and I'm like, it's probably not the worst placement it could ever be, but I still think it is pretty bad. This episode, I thought the placement of the flashback was way better. And I thought the flashback was amazing and really interesting. Arlen's been fantastic. I still sometimes think the humor is undercutting the emotional bits of it. But hey, that's what they're doing. That's what we're going to get. Because I thought it was so brutal and sad that he didn't finish his story and died. It just, like, that really got me. And then he's like, I'm awake, it's a joke. Knight always tells his stories. Ha 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 ha. I was like, okay, well, I was invested, and I just feel like when that happens so often, I start to put my guard up emotionally. Where I'm like, when are you going to pull the rug again? Like, I don't know if I want to invest in your scene if you're going to keep pulling the rug and laughing at me. But hey, that's just a personal taste. I still think most of the humor is quite good, like the Maester stuff at the start, when it is lighthearted and like, you kind of know Dunk's not going to be bleeding out. So when he's like, he's going to die, and Lionel's like, you shut up, idiot Maester. It's not like tension in the scene. So yeah, I mean, that's all personal taste with that. I just think I was such a defender in those first few episodes of the humor. And then I feel like as it's gotten on in the series, it's kind of become more intense. I've found it a bit more annoying in terms of its placement and undermining the emotional integrity of the scenes. But hey, whatever. What are you going to do? It's essentially a sitcom. It's The Hobbit, but if they'd done The Hobbit properly. 2 Lord of the Rings is Game of Thrones, so we're going to get that kind of lighter tone. I'm probably just going to have to get over it and get used to it. Another thing that I thought was kind of crazy, and it's played as a joke, because the show ends, it's very heartwarming and beautiful. Arlen's ghost rides off in the distance as Dunk has found his other family, and he rides off with Egg, and it's actually it's a gorgeous, wonderful, emotional shot. It's just after a very funny and mind-bogglingly alter reality changing, just hilarious moment where Dunk is like, it's the 7 Kingdoms. That's the name of the show, baby. And Egg's like, it's actually 9. And I went, in my head, I'm like, that can't be true. And he just names them all. I'm like, what do you mean? That can't be true. Getting my phone out, Google it, being like, what the fuck? Technicalities and changes and things. Really, really funny stuff. I must have known this at some point. I just haven't counted them or thought about it. Yeah, just really funny and wholesome and just showing their camaraderie and chemistry and everything is so delightful. That beautiful shot. It ends Night of the Nine Kingdoms. But then it cuts to a post-credit scene, Marvel style. And like Marvel's ones, like lately, it's mostly played for a joke. And Mako's like, where's Egg? Rah, where's Egg? So I'm just coming back in time from the future because I feel like maybe I was saying book spoilers, but like I didn't say spoilers. Spoilers. Just turn away. And it's like funny. He's like, haha, where's Egg? He doesn't know where he is. Implying, though, that he didn't actually give Dunk permission to, like, squire him, which kind of throws just, like, everything out the window in terms of, like, if he hasn't, will they be chasing after him? I don't see them doing that, because that would fundamentally change the course of not just the 2 seasons we know are coming, but, like, the show. He can't be, like, on the run with Egg. Like, it'd be like he's kidnapped Egg. Like, if Mako's just, it's going to be Mako being like, I didn't approve. And then be like, I guess, no, like, I did. Unless they just want to bring him back for, like, the 1 episode next season. I don't know. I think maybe it's just going to be played off like a joke and being like, well, don't think about it. But I am thinking about it because it does change everything. Because this whole season's plot essentially happened because, like, one guy said, like, I don't know, like, Dunk also stole Egg. He punched him and he also stole Egg. But he didn't do that. But this time, he kind of has. If he hasn't actually approved that Egg will sleep in gutters and stuff. But I don't know. I thought that was an interesting choice. It did, like, my mind for a moment before I realized it was just going to be a joke. It melted where I was like, oh, like, I got so, like, I don't know. I thought I was thinking to the future of storytelling. And it cut to Arion. And we're like, what the shit? We're going to see, like, is he going to die? Is there, like, something huge that they're going to bring into, like, a later season? No, he's just like, where is he? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But if I forgot about that, the last 3 minutes are spectacular, overwhelmingly gorgeous and beautiful. Dunk and Egg truly are just 2 of the great Game of Thrones characters. Obviously, the dumb Maester who's really bad at his job is obviously number 1, but close second, Dunk, and then obviously third, Egg. I would be curious what people think about, like, Dunk and Egg not going to hang out with Lionel. Obviously, potentially that's going to come into play later. But it's funny when they tease those things. Like, there are so many moments in this episode where they keep going, what's next season going to be? And I just sit there being like, I know. So this all just feels a little strange that we're even pretending it's not going to go a certain way. Especially the Lionel stuff where I'm like, that... I wonder if I didn't know, I might be a little disappointed that we're not going to be going and spending season 2 with Lionel. And he's like, actually, fuck that guy. I don't want to do that. So the Apple Knight character, he ends up marrying or becoming engaged with the prostitute lady character, which was utterly delightful and a fun way to just kind of tie the bow of this little one and done season. As like a book series, I'm pretty sure nobody kind of carries through it. It's just Dunk and Egg doing different stories. But I wonder with characters like him, the way they're wrapping it up. Like, he's like, I'm with the prostitute lady now, and he goes off and he gives him the horse, but he gets the horse back, and it's sweet and beautiful and nice, and it feels very much like we're tying these bows and these stories up nicely into little packages to roll away and to not see again. But I do wonder if, due to certain fan favorites, characters people like, things like that, will they try and tie them back into stories? And of course, I only know what they'll do for the first 3 seasons. So, I mean, shit, from season 4 onwards, it's going to be Game of Thrones season 6 territory of just, we don't know. We don't know. They'll say that they're on George R. Martin's speed dial, but we don't know. And if history has proven anything, it will just be whatever they want to do. Which can... Let's not go there yet. Let's not panic. Panic stations in 3 years' time. But I think it's a beautiful ending for his character. He definitely grew on me over time. Yeah, I don't know. What's there to say? That's nice. Very silly and dumb, but hey, that's nice. Overall, I thought this was an incredible season finale and truly surprisingly astonishing, great first season. I loved it so very much. I feel like if you go back and listen to all the reviews, there would be parts of them where you go, sounds like you didn't love it. Just sometimes when something's so good, it's easier and it's more, not interesting, but because it's so good, the issues do stand out. I was like, oh, I would have loved if they could have just morphed this into something that would be perfect. But hey, nothing's perfect. Overall, generally, utterly delighted with it. An utterly charming, wonderful, quaint, beautiful little show. And yeah, fuck, I am so keen for season 2. Just really, really excited. They couldn't have cast a better two Dunk and Egg, and that really is the most important thing. At least for now. And then the writers are really going to be the most important thing when we get to season 4 to however many they do before they're cancelled without George R. R. Martin writing the show. Because, oh boy, let me tell you, this finale, just like most of the episodes, was like 80-90% just dialogue from the book, word for word, in a way where I don't feel like even Game of Thrones just didn't feel word for word at times, but maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it's just because they cut so much out that it feels less like they're plucking bits, like lines and single bits here and there. Whereas this, it's just like a whole like scene will just be like, that's just the whole scene that he wrote down. Crazy, yeah, really amazing. It's been very good writing to add all the stuff on, like the new stuff that they've spliced into it, like probably one or two lines here or there they would have loved to hear that baffle you as to why they cut them out when they've kept everything else. But hey, what are you going to do? I mean, film them as well. Put them in the script and film that as well. But hey, that's not for me to say. Yeah, love the show very, very much. I guess there's nothing else to say. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the YouTubey things, and most importantly, what did you think about Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Let me know in the comments.